You're listening to Passing Time, a Detroit Lions podcast. We're one pride and all grit, with a passion for Detroit Lions football. Whether you're between meetings, between classes, sitting in traffic, or just relaxing at home, if you have time to pass, pass it with Passing Time. Detroit Lions Talk.
Hey, welcome to Passing Time with Brian
And Rob.
And man, we're fired up. We just got off watching the draft. You might call it a ho-hum draft. A lot going on in that draft. Brian, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, it was not what I expected. Not any of the guys that I anticipated the Lions would be after. I mean, Tyleik Williams is the one guy that we went after, but that was on my board at all. So what'd you think?
I mean, we were sitting there, Lions pick. It's going to be a name that you can't predict, right? Like, that's a Brad Holmes. They're sitting behind the scenes. It's a name that you're not going to predict, and they're right. Like, we were throwing out some guys, and we were wrong.
I was wrong. I would have looked at all the guys that I wanted. They went before us, which means that I had a really good thought process in wanting those guys, but other guys wanted them too. So
let's say that. Tell me a little bit about the Lions draft pick.
Tyleik Williams, compared to our own Ali McNeil, D tackle. He's out of Ohio State. Big dude, like 324 pounds. And you know what? He's got a great first step. He is a pass rushing run stuffer, probably more on the run stuffer side, but just a solid fifth ranked D tackle on the board that I thought fits the Lions, if you say needs, if you will. But I would say that he's going to fill in really well for Ali McNeil while he's out, and he is going to take over for DJ Reader and Roy Lopez in the coming years. He's just going to be a solid foundation along that defensive line.
Man, I just can't wait to talk about this guy in like 5-6 months, right? Like, that's the same with every Lions pick. It's just like, wow, we traded up for Gibbs last year. Oh man, I hope that's going to pay off.
Yeah, 2 years ago. But yeah, I get you.
2 years ago. 5-6 months later,
everybody's raving about how great that pick was, right? And you know, it's funny how when we got those picks, when we got the Jahmyr Gibbs, when we got the Jack Campbell, when we got the Sam Laporta, and we got the Brian Branch, if you like shuffled them around, everybody's like, oh, that's a perfect draft, right? If you would have picked Brian Branch early on and Jahmyr Gibbs in the second round, but we didn't. We got the guys that we wanted for us at the time that we wanted to get them. And I think this is the same kind of idea.
And hey, we hit you right with the Lions, but let's just pause for a second. Let's go back to the beginning of the draft, because it was chalk 1-1. Straight. We knew that 1-1, Cam Ward was going for a long time, right? Yep. But all of a sudden, it's a curveball there.
It's funny because I picked Travis Hunter to go to number 2, but I didn't pick him to go to Jacksonville. I picked him to go to Cleveland. And Jacksonville giving up their future to go get Travis Hunter at number 2. And hopefully Travis Hunter is the guy for Jacksonville to turn them around, because they don't have anybody to turn to after this.
I hope Travis Hunter has a passport, because he's going to be spending a lot of time in London. Is he a two-way player? Are they Are they mortgaged in the future because they're getting a guy that can play both sides of the ball? You know, they announced Travis Hunter, wide receiver.
You think about him and you compare him to like a baseball Ohtani, right? You get the Dodgers get a guy that can pitch and can hit, right? Is Travis Hunter that guy who can play defense and offense? And is there a guy in the NFL that can do that? I mean, you think about the room. Like, are you going to go into a meeting room constantly on defensive side and offensive side and be able to be where you want to be? Is that where the defense demands so much from you to know ins and outs, to know tendencies, to know schemes? And the wide receiver room, you're going to need to do the same for the offensive side. Is that possible?
Time will tell on this one, right. But man, what a move by Jacksonville.
Yep.
You know, the new GM, new coach, they're going for it.
You know, but I wasn't necessarily as surprised about Jacksonville as I was I think that was the right move for Cleveland. I was surprised more about Cleveland making the right move than Jacksonville making the move to move up.
Are the
So
Browns like just the Lions, but 3 years behind? Are they starting to make the right moves?
they're never going to be the Lions until they can get out of Deshaun Watson's shadow, right? So
That shadow is in the form of a strip club right now, somewhere in the suburbs of Cleveland. So we talk about the big trade that happened, and then there was a little bit of chalk, but there was a name that wasn't called today. Can you talk a little bit about the name that wasn't called, and maybe a couple names that were called?
My mock said that Shedeur Sanders was going to go number 9 to the Saints, and it didn't. And then I was like, oh man, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're
Backstop
21. They're going to go 21. He's going to go Shedeur Sanders, and they didn't. And then you see the Giants moving back into the first round at 25 and getting not Shedeur Sanders, but Jackson Dart. That to me was like, okay.
There was a couple of moments, and that was the Pittsburgh pick was an moment. The Giants trading back in and not taking Shedeur was an moment. And who'd they take? Tell me a little bit about that pick.
Jackson Dart. I mean, it's not as sexy of a pick, but I think it's a solid starter for them. It's going to be somebody who's hopefully going to move them forward rather than backward. It's going to be somebody who probably is going to have to learn under Russell Wilson as they move forward. But is he going to be the guy for a franchise? And he's going to be a guy for a franchise in New York, because everybody knows that's going to be a tough place to excel at.
Yeah, Eli did it great. He had a lot of success there. I don't know, flip to the Jets side of things. Zach Wilson kind of reminds me of Jackson Dart and didn't have a lot of success, ran out of town. But he was expected to be the starter right away versus Jackson Dart might have a 1-2 year runway here to prove his worth.
That's the question, except for the guys that are hoping to keep their jobs, right? So the GMs, the head coaches that they just cross their fingers that they've hit gold and are able to continue or get some success as they go. So
one of the few coaches that's a quarterback whisperer is sitting with the Giants, and maybe he can strike gold with that one, huh?
That's true.
All right, so we're emergency pod here. We're going to talk a little bit about tomorrow.
Ooh.
Because if you're an NFL draft junkie, if you're still watching this, you are. And we have day 2 tomorrow, and there's going to be some fireworks at the beginning of this draft tomorrow, and then into the Lions pick, which is going to be a little bit later in the draft. Talk a little bit about this.
If you watched the last pod, we talked about like the sweet spot in this draft is anywhere from like 15 to 50, right? And getting as many picks within that kind of grouping as you can get. And we have number 60. So, and then 102 in the 3rd round. So do we move up? Do we package some 7th rounders and some 6th rounders to get into that sweet spot to get guys like Jaden Higgins, who was a wide receiver out of Iowa State, who I think would be amazing for the Lions.
Iowa State, just a big body, like productive wide receiver without a great quarterback. I mean, that guy.
He fills our X role to a T, and Tim Patrick, who did a great job last year, is not getting any younger and has injuries. Right? I mean, we're going to be threatened to have him be on the field. I just hope that he can continue to do what he did last year. So,
any other big needs for the Lions?
The edge is still a need, and getting someone just to learn from a Marcus Davenport, who we have for 1 year, and we hope that is again the guy, but can never stay on the field. Right? I mean, he's solid, but he's always injured. So the edge out of UCLA, and I would love to pronounce his name. I'm sure you guys would love to pronounce his name.
There's a couple people here for the all-name team, JT Tuiamoloau.
Yeah, Ohio State guy.
Another
Another awesome edge opportunity, probably in that 2nd round pick, around 60-ish, maybe a little bit earlier, that I would love to see. Guard out of Arizona, Jonah.
Another all-name team. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
We can't pronounce. Xavier Watts, safety, out of Notre Dame. I think those are all filling some of the wants and needs of the Lions. But we kind of fit in that 60-ish round or just a bit before.
If we go Buckeyes one more time, 1st round, 2nd round, as a big Michigan fan, I'll do the O, you do the H. We'll find a couple of friends. They'll do the I and the O, and maybe we'll have the band run around. But man, they had some versatile fronts. They were loaded. They won the national championship for a reason. They had offensive linemen drafted in the first round. They had defensive linemen drafted in the first round.
Wide receivers.
They got wide receivers. They have running backs queued up for the second round.
Yeah. They were a good team, man. I mean, they weren't a national championship for nothing. They did lose to a one U of M team, but anyway, we're not gonna dwell on this. There is a U of M player that I would love to see in the third round, though, and that would be Josiah Stewart. I mean, I think that the Lions love him. They brought him in several times to meet with him. He, again, would fill one of those love to have kind of pieces to work and to try to win a spot. Is he the metrics winner and the combine, enthusiast? No, but he is a gritty guy that would really fill a good spot for the Lions.
I mean, the more I think about the Michigan defensive line last year, I think about they must have had a bunch of T-Rexes out there because they got short arms. They don't fit the bill. You got Mason Graham. You got Josiah Stewart. But these guys are chock full in the front of the draft here. And they are guys that we're talking about. They went round one. Had 2 defensive tackles in the top 15. We're talking about Josiah Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about all these Ohio State guys. Man, the Big Ten is loaded. The trenches are going to be loaded in the Big Ten. The SEC, also 14 guys going in the first round. I mean, there's the big 2 and everybody else right now in college football.
Yes.
And they're getting taken in the NFL draft.
And those are the guys that people are targeting. I mean, those are the teams that say, hey, we want to start winning, and we know the programs that know how to win, and we're going to target those types of guys. So
we're super excited for tomorrow. Let's finish on a couple notes here because other things have happened.
Yeah.
Was JMO following the Lions on Twitter or Instagram, or did he unfollow them? Is
Rob
he going to get traded?
Rob and I are instantly, hey, you think JMO's going to? Is the smoke's real? Is there a fire? What's happening? And it's funny because that week of the draft, you cannot believe a word you hear because everything's going to come out of the woodworks to try to get you to click, to get you to think, and the Lions are going to trade JMO and Hendon Hooker to move into top 3 to pick, I don't know, pick up Dual Carter, right? So it got me for a bit, but the reality is based on what Brad Holmes said today in his presser, they never received a call. They're not entertaining trading JMO. He's going to be around, and I would say you got to keep that guy around for at least one more year and gain his value on the field, and then maybe look at next year getting the value in trades, right? But he is more valuable to us on the field in 2025 than he is for a third round pick. So
listen, if you're a fan of your team, if you're a Lions fan, you listen to the podcast, if you're a Packer fan, if you're a Bear fan, you always think your guys are more valuable than they really are. So the pipe dream was package JMO with a Hooker, whether it's a Hendon or one you find in the corner, and get a first rounder. And that seems just let's high five each other and say let's trade. Unless
Deshaun Watson is making that trade, I don't think we're going to be able to get a Hooker for a first round pick. So
that's not happening. On the other note, to wrap it up, is we now have one of the highest paid safety in the NFL.
Oh gosh, yeah, Kirby Joseph getting 4 extra years. 86 mil,
mid-round pick out of Illinois, just a Brad Holmes special here.
My only thought is that I'm hoping that getting that deal done now in 2 years looks cheap, right? So you get that thing done now, as the I don't know, the pay goes up, we look a little bit better for it. But right now, it's scary because are we going to be able to pay the other guys with that kind of pay scale? So
it's looking like the Lions are going to get into a little bit of cap purgatory. So maybe they can find some cheap hookers in the future. But hey, thanks for joining us today. We hope to put something out tomorrow and the next day. Emergency pod. This is Brian.
That's Rob.
I'm Rob. Passing time. Love it. Thank you.
See ya.